In the shadows of New York City, behind the neon lights, beyond the sirens, the crowded streets, and the restless heartbeat of America's largest city, lies a world ruled by loyalty, fear, betrayal, and power. A world where a man's word meant more than law, where silence was survival, and where empires were built not with governments, but with guns, money, and blood. This is the story of the Gambino crime family, the most powerful mafia dynasty in American history. But before we begin, if you love powerful documentaries about history, crime, psychology, and dark secrets, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps us tell more stories deeper, darker, and more detailed every single week. Now, let's begin. Our story starts in the early 1900s. Ships arrive in New York, crowded with families escaping poverty in southern Italy. Many come with nothing except skills, determination, and old-world codes. And among these codes is one phrase: La Cosa Nostra, is the thing of ours. For struggling immigrants, this underworld becomes protection, a way to survive, a way to belong. Among the thousands arriving at Ellis Island, one man will one day reshape the Mafia forever: Carlo Gambino. He is young, quiet, almost invisible, but he carries the sharp instincts of a predator. And behind his calm face, a blueprint for power is forming. Carlo joins the early underworld through the D'Aquila family. He avoids attention, loud threats, and reckless violence. Yet, he rises, step by step, because he is patient, calculating, and dangerously intelligent. By the 1930s, New York's mafia families are locked in bloody wars. Bosses fall, alliances shift, but Carlo Gambino watches silently. He waits for the right moment, the moment when the old world collapses and a new one can be built. After years of internal killings known as the Castellamo's War, the Mafia is self-destructing as a young visionary rises. Lucky Luciano. He ends the chaos by creating the five-family system: Genovese Lucchese, Bonanno, Colombo, and Anastasia, which will later become the Gambino family. He also creates the Commission, a national mafia board of directors. This structure will rule American crime for decades. Carlo Gambino is not yet a boss, but he is already a whisper in the room. A quiet man with a long memory and a longer plan. The Anastasia family is ruled by Albert Anastasia, known as the Mad Hatter. He is unpredictable, violent, and feared even by other gangsters. He is also the head of Murder Incorporated, the Mafia's enforcement squad. But his brutal style attracts heat, and heat brings federal agents. Carlo Gambino believes in something different: power through invisibility. And so, in the background, a silent conspiracy forms. Allies shift. Meetings happen behind closed doors, and a throne quietly prepares for a new king. October 25th, 1957. Inside a Manhattan barbershop, Albert Anastasia sits down, relaxed. Two masked men rush in. Gunfire fills the room. Anastasia rises in confusion, then falls. The assassination is clean, quick, and perfect. No arrests. No witnesses. No evidence. Everyone knows who orchestrated it. No one says a word. Carlo Gambino becomes boss. Carlo's rule transforms the family. He avoids cameras and flashy suits, attends meetings in silence but controls every room. His formula: low violence, high profit, zero attention. Under his leadership, the Gambino family becomes the wealthiest mafia group in America. Their industries include the ports, cargo trucking, labor unions, construction, gambling, loan sharking, and international heroin pipelines. Carlo makes alliances in Cuba, Sicily, Las Vegas, and even with businessmen in Washington. By the 1960s, the Gambino family is not just powerful, it is untouchable. When Carlo dies in 1976, he bypasses traditional succession. Instead of choosing his underboss Aniello Della Croce, he appoints his brother-in-law, Paul Castellano. Paul is not a street gangster. He is a businessman, a corporate-style boss. He modernizes operations, expands white-collar crimes, and turns the family into a billion-dollar empire. But there is a problem. The streets do not respect him. And one man in particular refuses to bow. His name is John Gotti. Gotti is everything Castellano is not: flashy, charismatic, reckless, and loved by the streets. He becomes a hero to blue-collar soldiers who hate Castellano's distant corporate style. When Paul bans drug dealing, a rule Gotti openly breaks, tensions explode. Two worlds collide: the businessman boss versus the street king. Only one can survive. December 16, 1985. Outside Sparks Steakhouse in Manhattan, Paul Castellano steps out of his car. In seconds, gunmen close in. Shots echo down 46th Street. Castellano falls instantly. The underboss beside him collapses shortly after. Pedestrians scream. Chaos erupts. And across the city, men smile because the throne has opened. John Gotti becomes boss. The Gambino family enters the age of celebrity. John Gotti loves cameras, expensive suits, nightclubs, and media attention. Americans are fascinated by him. Becomes the Teflon Don as juries repeatedly fail to convict him. But fame has a cost. The FBI dedicates massive resources to destroying him. Wiretaps, undercover agents, RICO indictments. Eventually, they find what they need: recordings of Gotti planning murders and mocking his own men. In 1992, Gotti is sentenced to life in prison. He dies behind bars in 2002. His reign ends lewdly, publicly, and tragically. After Gotti, the Gambino family becomes quieter, more strategic, more invisible, just like in Carlo Gambino's time. Sicilian factions regain influence. The family shifts toward cybercrime, international fraud, money laundering, construction bid rigging, and overseas gambling operations. The Mafia is no longer the powerhouse it once was, but it is far from dead. In both New York and Sicily, the Gambino network still breathes. The Gambino crime family shaped America's criminal landscape for nearly 100 years. From the silent genius of Carlo Gambino, to the corporate reign of Castellano, to the fiery rise and fall of John Gotti, their story reflects the evolution of the American underworld itself. The laws changed. The streets changed. New York changed. But the name Gambino still echoes through the shadows. A symbol of power, a symbol of fear, a symbol of how far a criminal empire can rise and how brutally it can fall. If you enjoyed this deep dive documentary and you want more stories about dark history, true crime, psychology, and secrets hidden in America's past, make sure to subscribe. Your support helps us create more powerful documentaries every single week. Thank you for watching. And remember, in the world of organized crime, nothing is ever as simple as it seems.